Okay, chemistry and pre-AP chemistry. I'm moving on in the notes. This should be the fourth video you were watching. And the first one was vocabulary words, second one was all about heat, the third one was methods of transfer. Now we're going to start moving into talking about phase changes. You had another video you should have watched about phase changes, so hopefully this one will clarify any misconceptions we had in that phase change video. So, energy changes in state changes. So whenever I go from a solid to a liquid, that's also changing energy, which hopefully makes a little bit of sense because the temperature changes. I know ice is going to be 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit or lower, right? If I keep on making it colder, definitely ice is going to be there. Antarctica is colder than 0 degrees Celsius, and there's definitely still ice present. So ice can be 0 or colder. After it hits the 0 degrees Celsius mark, it starts to melt, and then it becomes a liquid. And in that liquid, we have a range of temperatures. But I know whenever it gets to 100 degrees Celsius that it starts to boil, and then it turns into a gas. And so we know that there's temperatures associated with these different phases. So that being said, this is what that's building off of, is those different state changes. If I'm in a different state, I have a different amount of energy. So endothermic change is a change in which energy is absorbed. And so we're going to be talking about a lot about endothermic and exothermic. It's really good that you understand them, but in endothermic, energy is absorbed. And then exothermic energy is released. And so a substance that takes in energy and the particle moves faster is going to be endothermic. So it takes in that energy and the particles start to go crazy. And then exothermic is when they release that energy and the particles start to calm down. So think about energy in the form of food. And whenever you take in energy, if I eat some sugar, I'm going to start to move faster. And so that's kind of like to try to help you with endothermic. Also, for an example of endothermic, I had that ice on my hand. The energy from my hand was transferring into the ice and causing it to melt, causing that ice to have more movement. So that's another way to think about it. But in the video you saw this diagram. There's also a diagram in your notes, and I just want to explain it a little bit better and summarize it with some color coordination, because I know some of you like color coordination. So my states of matter are in blue. I have a solid, liquid, and gas, and we can go from any of them, as you can see. Everything that is an exothermic process is in red. Everything that's an endothermic process is in black. So melting is endothermic. That ice in my hand, as it melts, it's absorbing heat. It's absorbing heat from my hand. That's the definition of endothermic, is that it absorbs energy. So that would be endothermic. And then the same concept is happening as a liquid absorbs heat from its surroundings, whether it's my hand again or it's the stove. It's going to vaporize. It's going to start to boil and vaporize for water, right? And then also, if I want to jump straight from a solid to a gas, again, we're absorbing that heat and going straight to that. And then exothermic, it's the exact opposite. If I want a liquid to become an ice, it needs to release heat. It needs to get colder. It doesn't need to stay hot. So hopefully this kind of helps you realize what each one's talking about. In your notes, you also have a state change chart. Yeah, I'll leave that here for now. A state change chart that helps you understand too. It gives you the process: melting, freezing, vaporization, condensation, sublimation, deposition. And then it tells you what's happening. It's going from a solid to a liquid or a solid to a gas. It tells you the motion, speeding up or it's slowing down, and it gives you an example of each. So hopefully that kind of helps you understand a little bit of what it's talking about. In the video, they also did a phase change diagram where they showed you the energy levels and how it flattens out. I also will do a video about that in a little bit, but not right now because this video is close to 5 minutes. So hopefully we start to understand how energy flows in everything. So everything you see around you has a certain amount of energy in it because it's either a solid, liquid, or a gas, and we can make it something else. I can make my gold ring a liquid if I wanted to. I need to put a lot more heat and a lot more energy into it. But hopefully that helps you kind of start to grasp these concepts. And again, one more time, endothermic means that energy is absorbed, and exothermic means that energy is released.